Essence and Catrice have come out with another of their DC themed Sisterlove collections. We had one last year with Harley Quinn and the Joker, and this time around we have Essence x Superman and we have Catrice x Wonder Woman. And I did ask you which one of the two you wanted to see first, and you said Wonder Woman. So that's what we're gonna do today. I bought quite a few things and let's get into it. Alright, so I am already wearing a little bit of a skin tint. I'm wearing some eye primer. I prepared myself for the look I'm going to do, and I think we're just gonna start out with the eyeshadow palette that I bought from this collection. There are two eyeshadow palettes in this collection and I bought one to try out. So this is the Catrice Wonder Woman eyeshadow palette 020 Amazonian Warrior, and the packaging of this is actually really cute. I do quite like it. The Wonder Woman logo is a little bit raised. I think it's really pretty. I love the gold and the red. And then inside we have kind of like a romantic color story. It's some red, it's some pink. I did feel like it's swatched a little bit more warm than I was expecting from looking at it in the packaging. But I do think it's a little bit of a different color story than what we have seen like lately in their Sisterlove collections. We have two cake liners. I did swatch them as eyeshadows, but these are supposed to be water activated. So I'm gonna try one of those as well in this look. We have in this eyeshadow palette a little bit more of a satin formula, except for the kind of like light pinkish champagne topper that is called Themyscira Glow. Is that how you pronounce it? Themyscira? I did watch the movie, but I kind of forgot. It's been a while. So let's zoom in and do a look. By the way, I'm gonna try and have the Essence video up tomorrow, and I also already swatched all of the Essence items that I have, and that eyeshadow palette actually swatched a little bit more impressive, and I didn't expect it. I wasn't sure if I wanted to get one of the Essence eyeshadow palettes, but that is a really nice swatching palette. Like this one, I do think it's gonna be quite a satin look. Like that's what you're gonna get. Okay, I'm gonna start out the look with Heroic Heart in Grease, and that one is a little bit of a peachy pink, a lighter peachy pink. So let's see about the formula this time around with the Sisterlove collection. The last collection that they did with Finding Dory and Up, I actually thought that the formula of the Catrice palette was really nice, but the color stories were a little bit like redundant. We had a lot of similar shades, so I was kind of hoping to see that formula again from Catrice, but I don't really feel like that is this. Okay, can you see? This is pulling quite like almost coral. It's quite warm actually. I do quite like the pigmentation. I like the blendability. It's quite a nice looking shade, but I definitely think this palette looks a little bit less warm when you look at it in the pan. But it's swatched like nicely for what it is. I'm trying nowadays to not judge palettes too harshly on there being satins in there. It's more of a personal preference that I usually don't really go for satins, and if I do go for satins, it is in combination with toppers, and we do have a topper in here, so that could definitely save the day for me. I do think that this is a really nice matte. I feel like this could be really nice for a very like spring summery look. I think that's actually really cute. That's cute. Alright, we are just gonna go in right away with the shade Strong Protector to deepen things up. And this is kind of like a blackened purple shade. It has something like a little purple in the undertone, like purple brown blackened. So let's see if it's gonna blend well. I just took the same brush. Let's see if we can get some dimension with this. I'm glad that this time around the deepest shade in the palette is not a water activated liner, because then sometimes you think you can create depth, but you can't really, only with the liner. I think this is looking good. I'm liking the look. Just adding a little bit more out here. I think it looks quite good. I quite like it, but it definitely becomes quite a dramatic look. Like this is the look where I show you how dramatic it can be, but I feel like there are also some other deepening up shades that could make the look a little bit more like spring and summer friendly. Not that you cannot wear this in the spring or summer, but it's a little bit more smoky. Okay, I'm gonna grab a clean brush and I wanna blend the edges and see what will happen. I think this is a pretty good deepening up shade. I quite liked it. Don't really have any issues so far. I think this is pretty nice. I'm gonna go into the shade called Guardian Blush, and this is a very, very satin shade. It's like, is it a matte? Is it a satin? So I'm gonna use that on my lower lash line. And this one is a little bit more of a darker pink shade. I'm expecting it to be a little bit more cool toned. Yeah, that's nice. I think that would have been really nice in the crease as well. It has the slightest hint of a sheen to it. And then I'm gonna take that darkest shade, Strong Protector, and I'm gonna deepen up the outer part, the outer corner, and connect it. Alright, let's pick a shimmer, and I kind of want to go a little bit more pinky, I think. So I'm gonna go into the shade called Power, but it's kind of like a mauve satin sheeny shimmer. Like most of these are just very satin. This is what it looks like on the finger. It looks almost like it has a little bit of a duochrome to it, kind of like peachy pinky. And I'm just gonna apply that all over my lid. And then we're gonna put the topper on top. Yeah, it's a bit hard to like get on my eye. Like I have to dig in a little bit. It does have a sheen to it. It doesn't look powdery like some satins can be. It looks kinda nice, like workable. I do feel like you can get an impactful look with this palette, but yeah, you definitely have to dig into those satins a little bit more than I would like. I would like it to be a little bit more easy. I do feel like we're getting somewhere. Something is happening here. It's looking pretty good. All right, I'm gonna go in with Warrior Princess, and I'm gonna put that in my inner corner. This seems to be a very, very light pink, and I hope it's gonna be pigmented enough to do the inner corner highlight. Yeah, I think so. That is looking good. Don't think it's the most pigmented matte inner corner that I've done in my life, but it definitely does the job. Alright, I had to change my battery, so if anything looks different, that's the reason. We are gonna go in with Mascara Glow, and let's see what this topper can do. I feel like this is gonna be the thing that could really kind of save this palette for me, like for my personal makeup style. It does have like a shimmer to it, but it's almost a little bit, I don't know, sparse, not sparse, but almost a little like chunky, a little chunky. It's quite cute. Definitely changed the color of my lid. Like, I don't know if this is truly a topper. It's quite pigmented in a way, and it really covered up that pinky shade on the lid. But we're just going with it. I think this is a pretty cute shimmer, but it's definitely not my favorite topper I've used this week, that I've used recently. Definitely not. Like, it's cute, but I don't know. I do feel like the look is coming out quite nicely now. I don't really have anything bad to say about it. Like, there's definitely some potential to this palette, but also I try so many palettes. Alright, I said I was gonna do a water activated liner. I think we're gonna go with Courageous Red. I'm gonna grab a brush and I'm gonna spray that brush if I have a setting spray. And I'm just gonna first see if it works, just spraying the brush and then going into the pan. So I'm gonna go into the red shade and I'm gonna activate it. Give me some pigment. It's looking kind of odd. Gotta tell you, I'm not very experienced with cake liners. So I'm just trying what I think you're supposed to do. Okay, nothing is happening here, basically. Am I doing this right? I kind of don't want to spray into the palette because, I don't know, I'm kind of scared that I'm gonna ruin the other eyeshadows. We're gonna go back in and really getting the pigment on the brush. Now it's super wet, like super wet. I'm gonna try and swatch it a little bit. That is kind of watery. I don't want it to be this watery. And also this looks really like a warm red shade, kind of orange. Is that what I want? Kinda no. Not really. I wanted the shade in the pan. Question is, am I gonna ruin this look? The answer is probably yes. I don't know. I'm messing this up. Okay, I think this looks kind of okay, but honestly, I would just prefer using something else. Just a pencil liner. Before, I never really paid attention to the liners. I just kind of ignored them, but today I thought, okay, let's just try it and see how I really feel about it. I feel like it's just a bit hard to get the concentration of pigment right, because you just have to put in some water and then hope for the best. But maybe you need to use less or more. Of course, that comes with experience. I could practice a bit. I feel like now that it's a little bit more dry on the brush, it's a little bit easier to be precise with it. It's a little too watery. Gonna put a little bit here, just a bit underneath. Okay, maybe there's hope. Maybe there's hope for me and water activated liners. Now that I've figured it out a little bit. But it still feels a little bit weird to just get a shade in your palette absolutely soaked to get the pigment out. So what do you think? Do you like it? Do you like the look with it? This is how it's looking right now. I guess I can live with it. I'm gonna try this one as well at some point, but not today. And these are the swatches of that red one. And it's kind of it does stay on, but of course it's water activated, so it's not gonna be waterproof. If it gets wet, the pigment is activated again. That's just how it works. I kind of like this look. I'm kind of liking it. I feel like maybe I was a little bit too harsh on this palette a few minutes ago. I think it's looking kind of good. I think I quite like this. Alright, before we move on to the face, I'm gonna put on one of the lip products that I got. I have 2 lip products, so one we're gonna do now. So this is the Catrice Shimmer Lip Glaze, and I got it in shade 020, Brave, and Powerfull. And this is a shimmery lip gloss. It doesn't have a lot of base color, but you can build it up a little bit. You see the base color a little bit more. And it does have a very, very strong kind of strawberry scent. It's very, very strong, kind of like strawberry candy, and it does have quite a big doe foot applicator. We are gonna see how I feel about this. Oh, it does look really nice. It does have that shimmer, but it's kind of like a dimensional shimmer. I don't feel like it's a chunky shimmer. Feels quite good. Oh no, I do feel that on the lips a lot. That is very I forgot the word. What is it called? Not crunchy. Gritty. It really feels so gritty. It looks cute. The gloss itself feels nice, but the glitter in it is just very gritty on the lips. So if you don't mind that, okay, maybe, but I don't know. I think it's a little bit too gritty, and usually I am not that specific about that. Alright, did my mascara, did a little bit of something in the waterline, I clipped my hair back, I'm ready for the bronzer. So in this collection we have a bronzer stick in 2 shades. This is the Wonder Woman Butter Bronzer Stick 010 Be Amazing. And this is of course a lighter shade. It is in this triangular packaging. You can just turn it up. It's a little bit more of a bronzy shade. It did feel quite nice and creamy in the swatch. It did seem to have a little bit of a glow to it. We're gonna see if that is gonna remain as you blend it out on the skin. I think this is gonna work for me, but I think it's definitely gonna be a bit more of a bronzy look. It's not gonna be as cool toned as what I usually do. I do have to get used a little bit to this shape. It's kind of forcing you to do your cheeks in a certain way. I do think I might like this shade. I hope it's gonna blend out the way I'm thinking. I'm just grabbing a Cinch F03. I think that's a great brush for products like this. Okay, this is blending out really easily, and yeah, that is a really nice kind of bronzy shade if you don't want it to be orange. It doesn't really have a yellowy orangey undertone. It's more of a bronzy shade for if you are more on a neutral maybe cool tone side. Like, it's not a cool tone bronzer, but I just feel like I'm neutral to cool, and these types of shades always work quite well for me. Like, unexpectedly at first, I do really like these types of shades on myself. I do feel like this is blending out really nicely. It does have a kind of like natural finish on the skin, nothing too mattifying. I really like the color of this one. I do feel like here I have a lot more than over here, so I have to fix that. But I do feel like the packaging isn't my favorite, but I understand. Like, sometimes bronzer sticks come in a triangular packaging. Like, it happens. And some people like it, some people enjoy it. I'm just gonna take a little bit just from the stick for my forehead. For this part of my forehead. I actually really like the color of this. It's kind of like the Kiko stick bronzer that I really enjoy. Not the 200 one, but the 203. That is a similar shade to this. And yeah, it doesn't seem heavy. It does have like a slightly creamy feel, but definitely not sticky. But I also don't feel like that really like dried down, like it's not gonna be able to move anywhere, but I don't really mind it. I think this is gonna be quite nice for dry skin. It's not balmy or anything, it's not sticky. I feel like that is looking quite good. My skin is a little textured right now, so you might see that, but that's definitely not the bronzer being blotchy. The bronzer is actually looking really nice and smooth. I do really enjoy this. I think this is a nice bronzer so far. Of course, I'm gonna try all of these a little bit more, but I really like it. But I usually do really enjoy Catrice bronzers. They do a good job at them. Alright, for the blush, I have both of the Blush Affair cream and powder palettes that they put in this limited edition. I really love this formula. I think it's a great formula. We have a powder blush and a cream blush, and we have new shades, which I'm really excited about. So we have shade 010 Champion for All, and this is a cool tone pink. I am very excited about this one. I think this one is gonna be so nice. I mean, this pink is what I love in blushes. That gets me so excited. And then we also have a 020 Powerfull Together, and this one is a very interesting shade. In some lights, I feel like it looks more terracotta. In some lights, I feel like it looks a little bit more rosy or a little bit more mauve. It seems to have a little bit of everything in here. So I've been thinking what I want to do. And I think I'm going to use this duo in this video today because I don't have a blush for the Essence video. There's a blush in the Superman collection, but I didn't want it personally. So I think I'm going to use this pink one in the Essence video to really like be able to show it to you on both cheeks, and also because I just don't feel like these colors I can mesh together and make look good. Sometimes I just do one cheek, and then just try and even that out, but I don't think it's gonna work today. So I'm gonna go with the shade Powerfull Together. This is a little bit of a scary shade for me. This is not really the type of shade that I would use normally. Like, I was intrigued by it. It looks a little scary, but I do think it's gonna suit the eye look. So I'm gonna grab a brush and I'm just gonna go into the cream shade first. So this is the cream shade. I think this is gonna be quite a bronzy look, like a bronzy cheek. It's just quite a like almost rosy brown. It does have some warmth to it. I think it looks quite nice. But yeah, I already know I really like this formula. I just recently put this in a like Turks Some Makeup Favorites. It has a slight bit of glow to it. By the way, I do have some fallout. I can see some fallout on my face there from that eyeshadow topper. So that did happen. I do quite like this blush on myself. It's definitely bronzy, but there's something about it. I kind of like it. Like, for the summer, this could be really nice. I'm gonna use a little bit of the powder blush. I'm a little scared that I'm gonna go overboard, so I'm gonna grab this little fluffy blush brush by Singe, the F06, and I'm just gonna dip in once. It's quite powdery. Tap that off and just go over top. And this is kind of like setting the whole situation, but I don't feel like this cream formula really needs to be set. It's not really necessary because it just stays on my skin on its own. I do feel like this makes it look really like nice and smooth. I do personally really like the combination of a cream blush with a powder blush on top. I just really like how that looks on the skin. Like, and still has a little bit of a like natural glow to it. It just adds a little bit of something. Oh, now I took a little bit too much. Yes, I got too much pigment on my brush. But we're gonna blend it out. It's gonna be fine. I'm just spreading all that shimmer over my face, but I'm too lazy to remove that. Like, I'm not going anywhere. Usually when I do go somewhere, I do take the time to remove some fallout. I just take some sticky tape. Okay, I like this blush more than I was initially thinking. Like, at first when I saw the promo pictures, I thought I was gonna like this blush. Then I saw it online. I was a little bit unsure because I thought, okay, maybe it's gonna be a little bit too terracotta, but after all, I'm liking it on my skin. I do feel like here, I should blend this a little bit more. It's looking a little unblended. Yeah, I think I'm happy with this blush. I think it's looking really good. By the way, I'm gonna grab the one in peach from the regular line because I'm curious to see these next to each other. Alright, so this is the blush affair in Peach Passion. I feel like this one is indeed a little bit more like peachy, and this one is a little bit more brown. Let me see if I can hold that up. Ooh. I can do this. Okay, so it's a little bit hard to see with the different backgrounds. I do feel like this one is more brown and this one is a little bit more rosy peach. Like, this one is almost a little bit more of a bronze blush and this one is a little bit more of a true blush. Like, these are a little bit different but not super far apart, if you were wondering about that. Okay, then my brows. I'm feeling very bronzy. We are moving on to the Multiglow Magic Highlighter from this collection. And this, yeah, it's just called Multiglow Magic Highlighter. It has 4 different shades for a luminous finish. So it's kind of like pinky, peachy, champagne. It does seem to have a little bit almost of a shimmer in the swatches. So we're going to see how that's going to translate on the face. Just gonna grab my highlighter brush and I'm just gonna sweep these all together on my face. I'm just gonna take a little bit of everything and see how I feel about it and see how I like it. Ooh, that is really blinding. Like, if you really sweep your brush through that pan, it's gonna be something. But that is a really beautiful highlighter. I'm gonna take a little bit less on the other side to show you what that does. I think some of these shades are a little bit more glittery. Now I took the top 2 and I feel like this side is looking a little bit more shimmery almost, but it could also be because if you build shimmer up, it starts to look more smooth, like less sparse. So this isn't really built up. This is a little bit more subtle. I do think this is a really beautiful highlighter. Now I kind of have to build it up on the other side as well to make it look even, but yeah, I don't really wear this much highlighter anymore in my life. I used to do when I was like 18. This was the look. I'm gonna see if I can blend that out a little bit with something. Can I soften this a little bit? I feel like the answer is gonna be no, but I'm still gonna try. In the Netherlands we say no is what you have, yes is what you can get. So just ask, I guess, or just try. Yeah, it's looking a little crazy. Next time I'm just gonna take a little bit less, but it is a beautiful highlighter. All right, we have one last lip product to try. I'm gonna take off this gloss. I really don't like it. I feel like it's so gritty. So that's a bummer because it does look really cute. I kind of feel like putting a little bit of the blush on top of the highlighter. So just taking a little bit of the powder blush, just intensifying the blushiness. Sometimes I feel like highlighter really tones down the blush. Yeah. A little bit more of that. Yeah, my cheeks are a little intense for my liking, but I see the potential in the products. Okay, the last product that I have to try in this video is the Catrice Wonder Woman Magic Lip Balm in 020 Proud. And this is a lip balm that is kind of like a pen style applicator, and then you turn it up and it comes through the little hole in the middle. It looks actually quite pigmented in the swatch. So I'm very excited to see what this is gonna be like. It's gonna be good. If I'm gonna like this style of packaging. It smells kind of like vanilla. You also have more of a nude shade, but I went with the pink. feel like I have to turn it up quite a bit to get the amount of product that I want, but then the actual like tip to apply it is not big enough to hold all of that product. So you apply a little bit, then you turn it up. Now I have kind of like a thin layer. It's not super glossy right now. It's just kind of subtle, but I don't know. Feels quite soft. I just wish that the application method was a little bit more easy. Now it takes some time to get this on my lips. But I don't know, it looks quite cute. I like the feel. It's not really thick. It's not a thick product, but it's also not like so thin that it isn't hydrating. What is under my eye? So this is what it looks like. I kind of like it. Am I head over heels? I don't know. But I like it more than a gloss. Okay, so this is gonna be the finished look, and I do like how it came out. I think next time I would do some things a little bit differently. For example, a little bit less of the highlighter, but there's definitely some potential to these products and I'm pretty excited about them. So let's start with the eyeshadow palette. I actually think this is a pretty good color story. It's a little bit warmer than expected, but there are some inner corner shades, there are some deepening up shades. I think that the liners this time around make sense. It is a bit more of a like subtle palette in a way. I don't feel like the mattes are subtle. I do feel like you can get quite an impactful look. I do feel like the metallic options are all very set. And personally, I would have loved to see maybe one more like truly shiny metallic, but I do like the addition of the topper, which did cause a little bit of fallout, but I don't know, in the end I do really like the eye look that I got with this. Then we have the Shimmer lip glaze. This is really pretty, but it's very gritty. The bronzer I'm really excited about. I really like the color of it. I think it looks like a very natural bronze on me. I am a neutral to cool, as I said, and this is just the right type of bronzy shade for me, and it blended out really nicely. It does look very nice and smooth and skin light. The Blush Affair palette, I knew I was gonna like the formula. The shade I'm actually quite impressed by. I'm actually quite excited to do kind of like a bronzy looks with this in the summer. I think it's gonna be really cute. Then the highlighter is quite a bit of a shimmery highlighter, but in a very beautiful, nice way. It's not a glittery highlighter. So if you like a slightly shimmery highlighter that comes out to be kind of like a champagne shade in the end, this is actually really pretty. Also really like the packaging of this. I think the overall packaging and the theming of this collection is really nice. I do think this is a really nice highlighter. Like, it is a very nice and glowy, and it's definitely not chunky or anything like that. And then the lip balm that I'm wearing right now, I think is interesting. There is some potential to it, but definitely if you apply a little bit too much, it starts gathering a little bit in like the inside of your mouth and it starts looking a little gloopy. And it does have some glow to it, but you cannot really build it up to have like a intense amount of glow, because then it's just too much product on the lips. So I kind of have to figure out how much of this I have to use on my lips to have kind of like the hydration, the color and the shine that I want. But it's pretty cute. It's looking pretty cute on my lips right now. Alright, that's gonna be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye bye!